Welcome to Creative Caregiving and Beyond. More and more people are having to become caregivers for their elderly loved ones, and navigating this journey can be really difficult. This podcast will provide guidance and give practical tips for your family. Your host is Wendy Whiteman, elder law attorney, author, speaker, and leading insight advisor in senior protocol and senior lifestyle trends. Know that you are not alone in getting the help that you need. Let's get started. And here's Wendy.
Welcome to another episode of Creative Caregiving and Beyond. Today we have a special guest, Leslie Farin with 50PlusToday magazine. So Leslie, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, Leslie, tell us a little bit about the magazine. It's an online magazine, which I love that concept because I'm notorious for subscribing to magazines and they stack up this tall. And my intention is to go back when I have time and just kind of read them a little bit, browse through them, but I never do. But the online concept I love because I can skim it and I can read it and it's not stacking up at the house and I have to throw it out later.
That's right.
So tell us about the magazine.
Well, first of all, the nice thing about online is that you can be up to the minute and you can just put in the hottest topics.
Yes.
I try to put in accurate and inspiring and educational articles.
Okay.
My writers are experts in their field, but they're also in the 50-plus community, like I am.
Yes.
The articles are very personal, and that's why people tell me they keep coming back, because they're personal stories, real people. These are the issues I have. This is what I did about it. And chances are, if you have a question, many other people have the same question.
Right. That is so true. That is so true. So real life issues and topics that you can take right there and apply to your life and get that information
That's right.
pretty fast.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
So how did you get started in publishing?
Well, it's a long story.
We've got time. Go right ahead.
It's 50PlusToday is a happy combination of a lifetime journey, really. I started my career in the healthcare field. I worked in a hospital for 10 years.
Okay.
In nutrition, I worked primarily with older adults and loved working with that population.
Okay.
When I was home with my kids for a few years, I had gone back to school and gotten marketing certifications and web design and all that kind of thing.
Okay.
Because I found that even though I loved teaching health and nutrition education programs, what I really loved about it was relating to the community, building my audience, and marketing. So I thought I could do both together. And when I entered the 50-plus age group myself, I'm definitely part of the club now.
We are both part of the club.
I get it.
You're not alone.
I just started to realize there are so many changes in body and soul that need to be addressed. Things change, and I'm a firm believer that age is not something to apologize for or a flaw that needs correcting.
Right, exactly.
This second act can be as good, if not better, than the first, and I'd like to help people realize that.
That is so true. That is so true. So when you started the magazine, what gave you the idea to just start a magazine?
An online magazine?
An online magazine.
I had another online magazine about accessibility.
Oh.
I think I mentioned to you at some point that my husband and I had invested in building an accessible, mostly accessible vacation rental.
Yes.
Because my mom was in a wheelchair the last 8 years of her life. And she loved to travel, and we found out very quickly that traveling with someone who needs accommodations is very difficult.
Yeah.
A lot of places that advertise as accessible really are not. So we built this house. It's been booked every week for the last few years, which is great. Apparently, I've really, it's a niche. It's just to find an Airbnb with accessibility is very difficult. So ours is in the northernmost tip of Texas Hill Country, about 20 minutes south of Granbury.
Okay.
So anyway, that was my first online magazine, and the audience was relatively small, and I just decided it was time to expand it and move out to older adults in general, where I could deal with accessibility plus all of the other issues that might come into play. Because I took care of my mom and because I'm a caregiver for my 91-year-old dad, I talk a lot about caregiving issues as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, and the accessibility you spoke of, I mean, that's real, because when you're a caregiver, everything you do, you're looking from that perspective. What is accessible for them if you're going to move them, or take them somewhere, and it's a big issue. So I think that was just great. You saw a need, and you took the bull by its horn and just built a house, a home, that would accommodate families so they could spend time together. I did get a chance to look at it online on the magazine, and it's just lovely. I mean, it's just in a beautiful scenery in the hill country. It's just gorgeous. So, wow, I can see why it's booked all the time. We'll have to definitely put up on how to book it as well.
Sure.
Because I'm sure a lot of families could benefit from that, because they need to, bond, get a time to get away, and just get in a different environment.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And what I found is it's not just older adults, it's people who have temporary disabilities. Somebody broke their leg.
Well, true, yes.
Somebody who has a grandchild in a stroller. It's really hard to be lugging all that stuff up steps.
Right.
So it works for a lot of people.
That's true.
I'm kind of on a mission to make the whole world more accessible for everyone.
Yes. Well, you mentioned, and one of our earlier conversations, your dad, he's quite the engineer type as well. Well, he was an engineer. He is an engineer.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And so did that inspire you just growing up with him designing and thinking of different and better ways to improve things?
Yeah, actually, I grew up in a house that he designed.
Okay.
In 1976 is when we moved into this house that was designed completely accessible for some crazy reason. He was way ahead of his time.
Yes.
Everyone thought he was crazy. There was no research on universal design. He did it all himself. And he is 91 and still living there in 2021.
Wow.
And he's fine.
And it's come in handy.
It's come in handy. When my mom had to go in the wheelchair, nothing needed to be done.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, that vision. He was quite the visionary. Now, one of the things I saw on the online magazine, 50PlusToday, and a lot of people love this, especially this past year, we've had a lot of time on our hands in reading good books. So is it a book club, or is it a book giveaway? How does that work?
I have relationships with a lot of publishers who publish books by New York Times best-selling authors and other best-selling authors.
Okay.
So every month I do a review of a recommended book. My books are actually recommended by Andrea Peskin-Katz from Great Thoughts, Great Readers.
Okay.
That's a wonderful Facebook group with thousands of people.
Wow.
So she recommends a book of the month. Every month we do a review, and then we do a giveaway. And I get hundreds of people who enter every giveaway. They look forward to those.
Okay. Okay. Well, tell us, what are some of your favorite articles? Just give us an example of one of your favorite articles that you've actually published on the online magazine.
One of my favorites is one called "Let's Talk About That Hair on Your Chin." It's a topic nobody wants to talk about, but it's a real issue for women after a certain age. It is. And it's
what hair? What hair are you talking about? No, they don't want to talk about that. Yeah.
It's a fun way to look at it. And everybody's got it, and we need to love ourselves for who we are, but that doesn't mean there aren't things you can do about it.
Right.
So it's kind of a fun poke at the issue.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
I have a dermatologist who writes for me, and she's on a mission to encourage women not to buy expensive products.
Oh.
Because she feels that the same exact ingredients can be found in less expensive products at your local pharmacy.
Okay.
That's Dr. Fain Frey of fryface.com.
Okay.
And she's just wonderful, and I really support her mission.
That's a good resource. Yes, it is.
She's a great resource.
Yes.
I just recently published an article about some artificial intelligence, which is a field that's exploding in the senior community.
Yes.
It was the sensors that are unobtrusive you can put around your house and sort of determine if behaviors have changed. You want to know how often the refrigerator is opening and closing when they're alone.
Yes.
There's no television, there's nothing to wear, there's no indignity. It's just good information.
I was reading about that the other day, and you mentioned, now do you have that with your dad as well?
I do.
Okay, okay.
I try the products I advertise.
You've tried it.
I'm very picky. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So does it give you a report on its
Every
daily
day.
activity? Is it generally the same, or do you look for abnormalities or a deviation from his routine, or how would one best?
The artificial intelligence looks for deviations,
Okay.
but it sends a report every day. It might just say there's nothing to be alarmed about, it's the same, or it might say, well, he got up 6 times last night to go to the bathroom. Usually he gets up twice a night.
Okay.
And then I know, well, maybe there's a urinary tract infection. Maybe it's time to call the doctor.
Wow.
It's just good information.
It is good information. Does it track whether or not if a person would, if they got up in the middle of the night and they went to and opened the front door, the back door, went
Yep.
out, or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It
yeah.
does, yeah.
Yeah. That's good to have. I've had, I've heard stories before with clients and families. I had one particular young man, and he was much younger than my typical power of attorney for a client, and his mom he was probably in his 20s, and his mom had early onset dementia, and so he put cameras. He had a night job, so he put cameras out, and so his mom knew the cameras were there. So she would crawl, like a recognizance.
I would
type,
do the same.
Yeah, exactly, to
We'd
avoid
hide.
those cameras so it wouldn't see her and alert him that she's on the move, right? And so, but I could see how this technology could come in handy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cameras are a little obtrusive.
They really are. They really are. So
Yeah.
these are more like sensors.
They're just sensors.
Just
You don't
sensors.
even really notice that they're even there. They're small.
That's
You just
a
hang them
great
on the
idea.
wall.
Yeah. And what is the name of that? program?
Stack Care. Stack.care.
Stack.care. Okay. Okay.
Highly recommend it.
Wow. Wow. So getting back to 50 Plus Today, so if someone wanted to subscribe, is there a cost to
No,
subscribe
it's
to the
free.
magazine?
It's
Oh,
supported by advertisers.
Oh, okay, okay. So anyone could just sign up for it and
That's
get the
right.
information, the content. Excellent, excellent.
Yep.
So how do you find your contributors to the magazine?
I'm
Did they
very.
approach you, or
Yes.
do you recruit for them?
At this point, I get calls almost every day. People who
Yeah.
want to write for my magazine. It's
Yes.
nice. And so I can pick and choose.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
So the topics, anything related to 50 plus. Is it 50? Where does the demographic stop? Is it 50 to 70 or 80 or just 50 up?
Well, it really depends on the person.
The person?
I would say it's more 50 to 70.
Okay.
Once you get to 70 to 90, there are different issues.
Yes.
So those issues for 70 to 90 are generally addressed through 50 Plus Today through the eyes of the caregiver.
Right.
So I would say my readers are primarily 50 to 70.
Okay. Okay.
My goal is to establish a community.
Yes.
This is a hard time of life, especially if you're new to the area, you no longer have kids to connect you to other
Right.
people.
That's true.
People are searching for a social,
yeah.
even if it's just online, but I do schedule events in person too, because I want people to have that interaction.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Of course,
Yeah.
I didn't during COVID, but I'm starting up again.
Yeah, opening back up. So what type of events do you schedule?
Well, let's see. I had a cooking class one time.
Oh, fun.
I have a lifestyle lunch and learn type program I'm starting. Some are just pure social. I have a travel agent I'm working with now.
Okay.
I'd like to start planning a trip.
Yes.
I work with a woman who specializes in solo aging. That's a big issue.
Oh,
Women who have no kids or husband, and they took care of their parents, and now who's going to take care of them?
right.
And so she and I are thinking about doing a program together. It's really endless what we can do. Depends on people's needs and interests.
Right, right. Well, that's great because your readers get a chance to meet each other and see that they have other people out there with common interests as well.
So many.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, people are ready to get out,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's a great idea. Do you publish those outings on 50 Plus Today?
I do.
Yeah. And,
I have a whole event section
okay.
by location. So I live in DFW, so right now most are in the DFW area, but I'm expanding.
Okay.
I have a pretty large community on the East Coast already.
Oh, very good. Very
and
good.
really all over the country, mostly U.S.
Okay. Very good. Very good. And would you say most of your subscribers are women or women and men? What do you think?
I do publish men's health articles because I'd like more men, but honestly, it's about 75% men.
Oh, really?
No, 75% women.
Okay, 75% women. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
75% women, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I bet the men hear about the articles from women as well. That they're relevant to them if they're married or
Yes.
or have a spouse or a father or uncle or
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's very good. Very good. Well, do you enjoy writing yourself?
I do. I love
Do
to
you?
write. I edit all the articles myself.
Okay.
I make sure they're optimized,
Yeah.
which is a big deal, time consuming, but
Yes.
why have an article online if nobody's going to see it?
That's true.
So
That's true.
that's fun for me. And
Yeah.
it also gives my writers a chance to really be seen and
Yes.
develop a name for themselves as an expert in their field.
So that's another platform for writers.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you? Are you writing articles yourself?
I write some.
Sometimes
I had
when
more
you have a
time at the
chance.
beginning. Yeah. If I have a pressing issue I've been thinking about, I certainly,
Yes.
it's cathartic for me. I sit down and write about it.
And write about it. Yeah. That's it. It sounds like it's very relaxing in writing. I write legally, but when I wrote the book, Creative Caregiving and Beyond, it was just a whole nother realm for me.
Yeah.
And I've written legal in legalese for so long. It was just, it was fun, just writing for in layman terms and just making it relatable.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Can I talk about your book for a minute?
You can. You ready?
So I read this book this weekend. It was a very quick read for those who haven't seen it. This is exactly what my articles are. They're written in casual first-person terms, relatable. The person writing it makes themselves a little bit vulnerable.
Yes.
People relate to stories.
They really
and
do.
They learn from stories and they remember them.
Yes.
And I thought this was a fabulous book. It really captured all the dynamics.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
We've all got families.
Well, thank you so much. And I'll tell you, the audience later, how to purchase the book. But thank you so much for saying so, because it was, I kind of put my heart and soul in it and tried to make it relatable to most people and make sure that it was a quick read. I didn't want
It was definitely
to take
a quick
forever.
read.
Yeah.
I think I spent a little bit of time one night and a little bit of time the next day, and that was it.
Well, thank you for reading it. I appreciate
yeah,
that.
I enjoyed it.
Yes. Well, do you have any closing thoughts that you'd like to leave our audience on about the magazine or issues that are facing the 50-plus demographic today?
Well, there's so many pressing issues.
There really are. Because we have a different, the world looks different now, doesn't it, since the pandemic?
Yeah.
And the quarantine, everything looks different. So there's so many new things that we're looking at. And we were talking about in our last segment, just living life, just really getting back out there, experiencing life. And what does that look like now,
And there's anxiety to getting back out there. My
Yes.
husband made a comment to me recently that he liked our simple life.
Yes.
He didn't want to jump back on the treadmill. And that was interesting to me because I'm ready. I want to be out and about.
Right.
So you have to be respectful of that too. Not everybody wants to go back to that life.
And that's so true. I loved it. I'm like your husband. I could stay home all the time and never interact with anyone. I could just be the homebody. But my husband, he wants to.
He's the social
I got to
one.
get out of here. He's like, Home Depot's open, Lowe's is open. I can go somewhere. We were in the quarantine. We're going to do a garden. It's like, okay, well. But I could just really just be alone all the time, and it's not a problem.
Well, you're
but I
also-
love the slow pace. That's what I really treasured, is just slowing down.
Yeah, and
a bit.
appreciating
Yeah.
the little things.
Yes.
Spending time with your family.
Right. And, I'm wondering, with the 50-plus demographic, as you get older, you begin to value that a lot more, because you're not necessarily, trying to build that career like you were in your 20s and your 30s. And you begin to see what is really important, too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
The only other comment I would want to make is that a couple of people have said, well, why online? People who are 50 plus want a print magazine.
That's a good question.
But they really don't. Most people, especially after COVID, are technical these days.
That's true.
They check their phones.
So true.
They read on the computer. It's a great way to reach your audience.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, a lot of people are more tech savvy than ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it was out of necessity. Even everything from ordering groceries online to
to staying in touch by Zoom with your family who lives out of
Right.
state.
Exactly, exactly. It was so important. So that's amazing. Now, do you have a blog or chat room on your social media related to the
I do.
magazine?
Yeah, I have a Facebook page.
Okay.
Where I really mostly post articles.
Okay.
I have a private Facebook group because I wanted a safe place for people to have conversations.
Yes.
And I have at least a couple thousand combined with the two
Oh, very
groups.
good. Very good. Now, do you get ideas from that group?
Oh, definitely.
On what articles to cover and
I poll my audience often. I want to know what they're thinking, what they want
Yes.
to know about.
Oh, that's a great way to get, figure out and get new ideas and
Yeah.
very good. Very good. Awesome. So, how do you determine where the bulk of your demographic is? Do you get AI information as well?
Oh,
on the
definitely.
magazine? And
Yeah,
it
I
tells
can
where
tell you where every reader's from.
Wow, that's very good.
Yeah, 25% are in the DFW area.
Okay.
About 20% are in the New York, New Jersey area, and then the rest are just all over the place. And
Wow.
Canada, U.S. and
Why do
Canada.
you think New York and New Jersey? Did you have contacts there or new people or?
I
they
grew
just-
up- I
you
grew
up
up
in that
there,
area. Okay.
And I've kept in touch with everybody since kindergarten.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
So you had a good
Small
connection there.
community, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's wonderful. So, what does your dad? What does he think about your magazine?
Well, he's a good dad. He's proud of me regardless of what I'm doing. So
Yes.
he's my biggest fan. It's nice.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, I thank you so much for coming on the show, and
Thank you for having me.
And I love the uniqueness of 50 Plus Today. And if we want to subscribe, what is the URL for that?
It's https
Okay.
/50plus-today.com.
Okay, very good. And we'll put that up as well.
Okay.
For our audience. And if you decide to subscribe to 50 Plus Today, I encourage you to do it. I loved some of the recipes and little drink ideas. I think it was like a homemade Arnold Palmer or
That's
something.
right. My husband's favorite.
Yeah, mine too. I've been buying the little can on Arnold Palmer, and I was like, oh, we could make this at home.
You can.
And so great articles, and easy to read. I love it, and I'm not stacking up magazines beside my bed that I'm going to never get to,
Right.
and have to haul out to the trash at some point. So Leslie, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
So much. And I was going to tell you the audience about the book. On how to purchase it. You can purchase it at Amazon.com, Target, Walmart, anywhere books are sold. You can pick up the book. I've been getting questions on some of the topics we've been covering about how to talk to mom and dad or how to get them organized without and keeping the family peace and keeping dignity in the family. So you can just, purchase the book in that manner. And don't forget to like us on and subscribe to our channels on YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, all the social media outlets. You can listen to us on Spotify as well. And I really appreciate you guys tuning in. And you've been a great audience. So don't forget to check on a senior, and it just might make your day. Thank you.